Don't want this one. Hello all my exciting Keiths, my name is Patrick and welcome to Fun with First Names, where each week we look into the meaning, origin and some extra fun facts behind one specific first name. And this week we're looking into the first name of Penelope. And we're officially in November. There's only 2 months left of 2020, which is a good thing, I think we'll all agree upon. However, before we get to the end of 2020, I'd love to hit our next big Patreon goal of $700 a month. Hitting this next target of $700 a month on Patreon would help Name Explain in a huge way. It means I wouldn't have to depend on ad revenue as much from these videos and I could just focus on making videos I enjoy to create and not worry about making these big hitting videos. It would lower my stress and would just make things more easier in general, really. Like I said, it would help in such a huge way. We're currently sitting on about $580 right now, so if just 120 of you could donate just $1 a month, then we would be there in no time. I really want to hit this goal by the end of 2020. That's 2 months to hit this next big goal. I know we can do it. I know enough of you guys love Name Explain enough to help support, even just for $1 a month. And of course, you get so many extra goodies for just $1 a month. You can go check that for yourself. I won't rabbit on too much about it. What I will rabbit on about is what I'll do when I hit $700 a month. There's two sort of goals for $700. One of them being I want to hire an editor for these Fun with First Name videos so I can focus on the creating side of things and someone else can edit these videos together. They can probably edit way better than I can do. I'd love to see these videos done in a much more fun style. And hopefully I can bring someone on board so they can focus on that and I can focus on this presenting side of things, I suppose. And of course, you guys know I love making myself look silly in these videos. So instead of wearing a silly hat like I did for $600 a month, I'm going to wear a whole silly suit if we hit $700 a month before the end of 2020. I actually already own a silly suit, so I'm really looking forward to this one. Trust me, it's the silliest of suit you ever did see. So that's all about Patreon right now. There'll be a link down below. Please do consider supporting. It would help in a huge way. And let's hit that target of $700 a month before the end of 2020. Anyway, let's look into that name Penelope. And no, it's not Patrick. I'm afraid a lot of you guys thought Patrick would be for P, but nope, maybe next time for sure, because we'll be covering boy P names next time. But anyway, Penelope, it's a really cool name, really unique name, Penelope. Not many other names really sound like that. And it's primarily a female name. You don't really meet many boys named Penelope. And there aren't many spelling variations of it. The only main spelling variation I could find was Penelope with 2 N's. However, a popular nickname for Penelope is of course Penny, and Penny has become so popular, it's kind of become a name unto itself. A lot of people are just called Penny without it being a nickname of Penelope. I also read it can be shortened to just Pen too. I haven't really met many Pens. I mean, I've seen lots of actual like pens you write with pen friends, but not many people call Pen. There are 2 different explanations as to where the name Penelope comes from, and they're really different but oddly related, and they both come from the Greek language. One idea is that it comes from the Greek pene and means a thread of a bobbin, and the other idea is that it comes from the Greek Penelopes, which is a type of duck. And like I said, these etymologies couldn't be further apart. A thread of a bobbin and a duck, how on earth are they connected? Well, they are connected, and that is through the Greek mythological character of Penelope. This Penelope is best known as being the wife of Odysseus from Homer's Odyssey. Did I say that right? Odysseus? Tell me if I said that wrong. You guys are pretty good at telling me when I say things wrong. The Odyssey is all about Odysseus trying to get home after the Trojan Wars and all the challenges he faced along the way. And Penelope's role in this is waiting. Not the most exciting role, I know, but it's very important to wait. She waits 20 years for her husband to return from the war. And in this 20 years, other men pined for her. They wanted her to be their wife. But she was like, no, I'm waiting for my man. He's going to be here, I promise, any day now. And of course he does return and everything's good in the world. Penelope's happy to have her husband back and she waited and she was committed to waiting for her man to arrive. And this Penelope in this story is seen as a symbol of hope, faith and patience, which oddly enough have become female names too. But what on earth has any of this got to do with thread or bobbins or types of ducks, I hear you asking? Well, the thread of a bobbin part of the name is thought to come from how she would delay men from pining for her and wanting to be with her. Whenever suitors would come knocking on her door saying, please marry me, your husband isn't coming back, be with me, she'd be like, no, I'm sorry, I'm weaving, I'm using my thread and my bobbins at the moment, I'm too busy weaving and sewing right now to talk to you. She used all this thread and weaving and bobbins as a distraction for not seeing other men. It was the doing my hair tonight of the time. As for being named after a type of duck etymology, well, that relates to her birth. Her father was Icarus, as in the flying too close to the sun kind of Icarus. Icarus, of course, wanted a son, like most men did for some reason at that time. Daughters are fine, you know. So when he found out he had a daughter, he was apoplectic. He chucked her into the sea, like, off you pop, don't want this one. And while floating away in the sea, she was rescued by a family of ducks and raised as one of the ducks, for a time anyway, because eventually her father found her being raised by these ducks and he saw that as a good omen. He was like, that kid's being raised by ducks. Big fan of that. I want that kid again. Just, you had the kid in the first place. Why did it need to be raised by ducks to make you realise you wanted that kid? Greek myths are stupid. They're fun, but it's very silly. But we like very silly here at Name Explained, so that's okay with us. And this weird story of partially being raised by a waterfowl explains to us why Penelope might be named after ducks. She's kind of like the penguin in that regards, I guess. But nevertheless, both these stories explain to us why the name Penelope is thought to be named after the thread of a bobbin or after a type of duck. And Penelope has stayed as a really popular name, especially in recent years, and it's been shooting up in popularity, especially over in the USA. It's the 22nd most popular girl's name there, and it's been shooting up over the past 20 years. In 2001, it was the 945th most popular girl's name. If you see charts just from them, it's been going all the way up. It might be number one of these days. Who knows? I believe I even read the most popular girl's name starting with a P in America. That's how popular Penelope is. Here in the UK, however, it's the 48th most popular girl's name. So still pretty popular in the top 50, but nowhere near as popular it is over in the USA. Famous Penelopes, of course, include Penelope Cruz. That was really hard to say, trust me. Famous actress. I think she was on the Parts of the Caribbean films. Maybe. I haven't seen past the first three. There's also Penelope Wilton, who I'm sure many of you will remember from Doctor Who. Do you remember those Slovene episodes of Doctor Who? So good. Christopher Eccleston's series of Doctor Who is so freaking good. I prefer Matt Smith as a doctor, but that first series is amazing. And if you're anything like myself, when you hear the name Penelope Pitstop from Wacky Races comes to mind. She's the definitive Penelope in my eyes. And did she ever have a spin-off series with the Anthill Mob? Or am I imagining things? I remember there being another cartoon of Penelope and the Anthill Mob. Maybe I'm just imagining that. And there's of course a wrestling Penelope. We always have to find a wrestler with one of these names. And there's Penelope Ford from AEW. Really good young wrestler, up and coming I believe. Really good stuff. I don't watch AEW as much as I should do. I know it makes me a bad wrestling fan, but each their own. But that's just about everything you guys need to know about the name Penelope. But what are your thoughts on this name? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Do you know anyone with the name Penelope? Are you called Penelope yourself? Let me know down in the comments below. And of course, I just want to share some of the thoughts you guys had on last week's name of Oliver. Darmo10 said, I would definitely shy away from an extremely common name, particularly if your last name is also very common. Having a common name is a problem I know well. I once worked at a place where 5 people had the same name on one shift. Not to mention the problem that can come along with having the same name as, for instance, a felon who lives on the same street as you. As much as you might like it, it does come to a number of logistical hurdles that you can't just ignore. This was a really good response. A lot of you guys responded the same way. I babbled on in that video about like, oh yeah, everyone should just use the name Oliver if they like it regardless what they want. But no, this is really good. I was so busy thinking, if you like something, do it. But there are hurdles. You might really like something, but can't use it for other reasons. And I didn't think about that. Thank you all for explaining that to me. Sometimes I might explain names to you. Most of the time I explain names to you, but a lot of the time you also explain names to me. And I like that, that's cool. Jay Dinnan said, because of Cromwell, the name won't make it into the top 10 in Ireland, I'm afraid. Yes, that is very true. Oliver Cromwell isn't best liked in Ireland. I'll be honest with you, the history of Cromwell isn't my expertise, but I do know for sure he isn't liked over there. I went to Ireland last year, about this time last year, I went to Dublin and I was talking to some Irish people in a pub about British, English and Irish history, and they were telling me how much they despise Cromwell over there. So yeah, definitely Oliver isn't going to be making it in the top 10 anytime soon in Ireland. And Furman Tanava said, I honestly don't stumble about a lot of Olivers here in Germany, but I had a pair of twins in my class once and their names were Patrick and Oliver. Dun dun dun! What a coincidence, eh? That was a video about a Patrick talking about the name Oliver, and this guy knew some twins who were called Patrick and Oliver. What a lovely coincidence. Next week we'll be looking to a name starting with the letter Q, and what name that would be exactly will be chosen in a poll exclusively for my patrons to vote on. So if you want to help support the show, enjoy the channel and have a say in what names get explained, then please do consider donating on Patreon. It takes just $1 a month to vote in these polls and that helps in a huge way. That's just about everything for now guys. Goodbye and take care.